wanted to thank you all for coming out today. Today we're going to talk about 48 CFR. CMMC is here. Are you ready? Presented by Dispatch Tech. A little bit about Dispatch Tech. We started back in 2008. We started working with government contractors across the United States and have a dedicated government risk and compliance team. We work with companies like USXCYBER to help us with our cybersecurity posture and also help protect our clients and stay CMMC compliant. On our panel today, we have myself, Aaron Wyatt. I'm president of Dispatch Tech, a cybersecurity expert. Bill Norvell, vice president of marketing and a cybersecurity solution specialist.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, and we're excited to be here, and thanks for coming.
Crystal Wilcox, our general manager.
Hi, thank you everyone for showing up. We appreciate it.
Cole McKinley, chief technology officer of USXCYBER. His team has developed Guardian, your CMMC sidekick. Here's what we're going to talk about. What is CMMC? CMMC enforcement, CMMC level breakdown, and then at the end, we'll do questions and answers.
Oh. I think we might have lost the presentation.
Yeah, stand by, folks. We weren't intending to do an intermission this early in the show, but we will get that back here in just momentarily. But Title 48 is coming, and this webinar, once we get it going, will clearly illustrate it, and we're definitely staying away from acronyms and making everything clear and as concise as we possibly can concerning Title 48 that's coming down the pipe here within about the next 90 days. It went for review on the 22nd of July, and it is currently at the ORA, and it's under review. It should be at least within the CMMC ecosystem, probably coming out around Halloween. That's the most liberal estimate, but more conservatively, it could be as late as next year, but it's definitely coming. So once it's through that period, it'll go through a quick review period as well, 1 to 3 weeks, then it'll go live. And then it'll start coming up on contracts, either CMMC compliant, and then the DFARS that'll be attached, or defense regulations, will state the numbers. It'll be kind of a roadmap whether you need level 1 or level 2 compliance as well.
The new DoD cybersecurity requirements. The Department of Defense has introduced the Cybersecurity Maturity Model certification as a requirement for contractors. These requirements align with NIST standards, DoD government contracts. CMMC requirements appear in DFR's clauses within 48 CFR. They apply specifically to defense contracts, not all federal agencies. Federal Contract Information, FCI. If your organization only handles FCI, you must meet CMMC Level 1 requirements, basic safeguarding. Controlled Unclassified Information, CUI. If you handle CUI, you must meet CMMC Level 2, which includes the full NIST SP 800-171 controls.
CMMC enforcement.
Part 1, 70 of Title 32 establishes the CMMC program. On this slide, you see the 5 key contract clauses that make it enforceable. The first clause sets the baseline, 15 basic safeguards for protecting federal contract information. The second is all about controlled unclassified information. It requires contractors to follow NIST 800-171, to report cyber incidents, and to make sure subcontractors follow the same rules. The third requires contractors to submit a self-assessment score into the government's SPRS system. The fourth gives the Department of Defense the right to come in and assess your cybersecurity practices directly. And the fifth clause is the big one. It's the one that inserts CMMC levels directly into contracts, making compliance mandatory for award. So together, these clauses move CMMC from policy into enforceable contract law. What is Title 48? Title 48 of the Code of Federal Regulations is where the federal government keeps all of its contracting rules. It includes the Federal Acquisition Regulation, plus additional supplements for each agency. For defense contracts, the Department of Defense is now adding the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification requirements directly into Title 48. That means compliance becomes a contractual requirement. And here's the timeline. Compliance language is expected to begin appearing in solicitations by late 2025, possibly as early as October. The full rollout will be completed by 2028. Why Title 48 matters? This is the big change. Title 48 makes CMMC not just guidance, but a contractual requirement. Compliance isn't optional. Without it, you won't even be eligible to bid. And we now have a date. By late October 2025, CMMC language will start showing up in DoD solicitations. Assess current state. The first step is understanding where you stand today. Every contractor needs to identify which CMMC level applies to their work. If you only handle federal contract information, that's level 1. If you touch controlled, unclassified information, you're at level 2. From there, you need to perform a gap analysis. Compare your current practices against the CMMC requirements to see what's missing. Close the gaps. Next, address the gaps. That means putting the missing controls in place and updating your policies, procedures, and documentation. Verify and maintain. Finally, test yourself before the auditors do. Run readiness reviews and make sure you can sustain compliance over time. Closing reminder, and don't wait. CMMC requirements will start showing up in DoD contracts by October 2025. Common challenges. Many contractors, especially small and mid-sized ones, don't have a dedicated cybersecurity team. That makes it tough to translate CMMC requirements into day-to-day practice. Even if controls are in place, the documentation often isn't. Policies, procedures, and SSPs get written once and forgotten, but under CMMC, documentation is just as important as technology. Older IT systems weren't built with modern cybersecurity in mind. Replacing or securing legacy infrastructure can be one of the biggest hurdles for compliance. And finally, there's often confusion about who is in charge of the CMMC process inside the organization. Is it the IT team, compliance team, or the leadership team? Without clear responsibility, progress can stall.
How we can help. We help contractors get ready for CMMC by starting with gap assessments and readiness checks. From there, we develop or update policies, procedures, and the system security plan, the core document that auditors will expect. We also provide ongoing compliance support so you stay ready, not just get ready. And because we are an RPO with the Cyber AB, you know you're working with an authorized, trusted partner.
Hi everyone, I'm Cole McKinley, and today I'm going to show you why Guardian is the easiest way to get and stay CMMC compliant without all the tech headaches. Think of it as your cybersecurity sidekick, helping you keep safe while you focus on running your business. Guardian is what you get when you combine a cybersecurity and compliance tracking platform into one seamless stack. It has everything you need from antivirus, SIM, and cloud protection, all wrapped up while keeping you on track during your cybersecurity journey. Plus, it has policy templates, artifact gathering, and the ability to integrate with other tools. It puts all your CMMC tools in one place, so you're not juggling vendors, and it's built with SMBs and manufacturers in mind. So it's practical, not overbuilt, and when the auditors call, you're going to be ready. That's slide 2. Oh, can we go forward one slide, sir? Oh, maybe back one, sorry. CMMC feels overwhelming for small businesses because of 3 things: time, cost, and complexity. Most companies don't struggle because they don't care. It's simply because the process was built for large companies with large IT teams. That's why Guardian exists, to take those challenges off your plate and give you one clear, simple path to compliance. How does Guardian make that path simple and smooth? Well, first off, the majority of the security controls are covered. From day one, Guardian and its packaging covers 79 out of the 110 NIST 800-171 security controls. That means most of the hard work is already handled without stacking multiple tools or vendors. The rest you can see within our SRM tool that it lays out exactly which controls are left and gives you a clear, plain English step to close the gap. That way, your path to compliance is simple and visible. And here's the best part. The SRM just doesn't identify the controls. It also provides documentation and answers on how you can handle it directly and provide those materials straight to the auditor. So no more digging, no more last minute scramble, just proof when you need it. With Guardian, CMMC stops becoming a moving target and you know exactly where you stand and exactly what's left to do. So here's what it all really means to you. Most of the hard stuff is already handled. You always know exactly where you stand with CMMC. No more late night uh-oh moments right before an audit. You'll always be audit ready. That's how Guardian takes you from the CMMC beginner to CMMC expert without the constant stress and pain points of just another thing that you have handled every single day.
At a bare minimum, every DoD contractor needs 3 things: a documented system security plan, a truthful SPRS score submitted within the last 3 years, and a medium assurance certificate if DFARS 7012 applies. If you're missing any of these, you're already out of compliance.
And here's a breakdown of CMMC levels.
CMMC is structured into 3 levels. Level 1 is the simplest. Companies that only handle federal contract information can self-assess and affirm compliance. Level 2 has two paths. Some contractors can do a self-assessment, but if you handle more sensitive, controlled, unclassified information, you'll need a third-party certification from a C3PAO. And Level 3 will apply to only the most critical programs. It's based on NIST SP 800-172 and will involve a DoD-led assessment. That piece is still being finalized. Level 1 is the entry point for contractors that only handle federal contract information, or FCI. The requirements come from FAR 52.204-21 and supporting DFARS clauses. There are 15 basic safeguarding control law, things like limiting access to systems, using antivirus, and regularly updating software. Contractors at Level 1 don't need a third-party audit. Instead, they complete an annual self-assessment and affirmation in the SPRS system. Level 2 applies if you handle controlled, unclassified information. These requirements come from DFARS clauses including 7012, 7019, 7020, and 7021. Level 2 has 110 security practices that align directly to NIST SP 871. Companies in this category may be allowed to do a self-assessment every 3 years, as long as they submit a truthful score into the SPR system and reaffirm annually. This path applies to contracts with less sensitive CUI. Level 2. Certification is for contractors handling the more sensitive categories of CUI. Unlike self-assessment, this requires a third-party audit by a certified third-party assessment organization, or C3PAO. The assessment happens every 3 years with annual affirmation in between. To fully certify, you must score 110 out of 110. However, if you score at least 88, you can close the gap using a plan of action and milestones, but those items must be remediated within 180 days. It's also important to note that not all controls are eligible for plan of action and milestones. Only a limited set can be deferred. So in practice, companies should aim to be as close to 110 as possible at the time of assessment. As we wrap up, here are 3 clear next steps. First, schedule a readiness consultation. Don't wait until October, because by then the requirements will already be in solicitations. Second, identify your contract requirements. Do you only handle FCI, or do you also handle CUI? That will determine your CMMC level. And third, start developing an action plan for compliance, closing gaps, updating policies, and preparing for assessments. The earlier you begin, the smoother and less costly this process will be.
All right. Do we have any questions and answer time? Do we have any questions for hand raised? Go ahead.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, I joined a few minutes late, so I hope you may have already covered this, but so it occurred to me, one of the things that a lot of our folks that work in the Ship Repair Association might be wondering is, if you haven't covered it already, is what is from the time you think you have your system set up and ready to go, how long does it take to get an assessment from an outside source? What kind of time frame are we talking about?
To get an assessment from an outside source, that's a great question. It's one of those questions that the sooner you apply, the faster. I don't know if Cole might know the answer to that one at all, but
Yeah. I'd love to help out. So what we're seeing in the marketplace is generally a 2 to 3 month wait period once you book that call with a third party C3PAO. Depending on need and as we're seeing times increase, to get a well-known agency, you're looking at about a 3 to 6 month window. So they're getting more scarce and the backlog for C3PAOs is building. So the sooner the better for at least getting on the books. But generally speaking, anywhere from 2 to 6 months.
Okay, am I still unmuted?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, so I guess the follow-up question would be, just out of curiosity then, do you have a feel for how many audits by an outside, third-party audits, how many third-party audits have been done in the San Diego area or any other geographical area of the country so far?
Yes, so roughly about 300 audits have been completed in the whole United States. This concludes audits from like commercial companies, not government-based audits. With those numbers, you're probably talking about another maybe 100, 200 more that the government actually came in and done, but 300 in the US.
Okay, thanks.
What's the difference between FCI and CY?
I can take that one. Basically acronyms. FCI stands for Federal Contract Information. It's typically the caveat for level 1 compliance. So if you get on a contract that you're going to be that FCI is required, or you will be required level 1 certification. CY is an acronym for Controlled and Classified Information. Way more sensitive than FCI. That's the caveat for level 2 certification. Requires a lot more safeguarding under laws, regulations, FARs, and basically it's what CMMC is pivoted around. Basically, the flow of CUI within your organization. Any other questions relating to that, Crystal, or did I cover everything?
No, that covers it. I did have another question when you're done.
Sure.
All right. If I'm starting from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
I have not uploaded my SPURS or SPRS number code, any of that. How long do you think it would take for my company to be CMMC compliant level 2 certification?
Starting from scratch, you're looking at about 12 to 18 months to reach compliance. It can vary from company to company. In some cases, companies already have the process, some of the processes in place. We need to go in there and do a gap assessment. If you already have an SSP or POAM in effect and the POAM is still good, it could be less time, but typically from the get-go, it's about 12 to 18 months.
And Bill, I'd love to add a comment to that if you don't mind.
Oh, sure, Cole. Please do.
And with the Guardian platform covering so many security controls, if you use a full stack solution with this very robust, you can cut that down.
Another question here. I'll let Gordon back in here.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. I was just gonna to clarify a little bit on what I have been hearing from previous presentations and in some cases from the government, and just seeing what the government is already marking as CUI, and what they've told me that they're probably going to be marking. Allegedly, any spec is likely to be at least start out as unreleasable or CUI, not releasable to the general public kind of stuff. Same thing with ship's drawings. And obviously, if you're a company as the prime contractors, I think for the most part are already CUI compliant for a number of other reasons, or CMMC compliant. But the concern that the government's raised with ship repair associations that we've been passing along to you guys is that starting sometime in the very near future, I've heard a couple dates that have already passed, but the government is going to start requiring the prime contractors to flow down the CMMC compliance requirements as a flow down requirement in the prime contract to any subcontractor that's bidding work. So if you're a subcontractor that needs a copy of the spec to do your work, or needs a copy of the ship's drawing to do your work, and it's been marked as CUI, then you're going to need the CMMC compliance requirements met. So if that helps clear things up for anybody.
That is correct.
Thanks,
Well
Gordon.
said. Well said.
Yep, that is correct. Yeah.
You can
Nice.
come work for us if you like, Gordon, too.
Right.
That's okay. Thanks.
Too much responsibility. It's a lot. Do we have any other questions?
I thought I saw a hand, but it may have dropped. But anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming and listening to us today. On the last slide that you see here, it obviously has our email address or phone number. If you have any questions, email's obviously the best way to reach us. But if it's urgent, you can also call us. But we'd be happy to help and help you with your CMC process, or just answer any questions you may have.
And we have all of the email addresses in here as well, so we can go ahead and send you a copy of this webinar. I know that was a question earlier, so just so that you know, you can rewatch it if you have any questions about what was said. I know that we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we really appreciate your patience during that. That way you can watch it again and get more clarity if you missed anything.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you, everyone.
All right.
Hope
Have a
that you
great
all
week. Have a great
wonderful day.
weekend. Sorry,
Thank you.
Crystal.
Nope, you're good. Have a good
All right.
weekend.
Thanks, Gordon, for your help.
Ditto.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys for
All
putting
right.
it on.
Thanks,
Of course.
Gordon.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Take care.